Hi everybody, I'm Hillary. Hope you've had a good semester. I did my ASQ on a 5-year-old little girl. I'll call her JD. She's Hispanic. She excelled in all the areas of the ASQ. She has fantastic communication skills. She's fluent in both Spanish and English, and so are her parents. So I attribute a lot of that to her advancement in verbal and listening skills. She didn't show any kind of anxiety during the fine motor skills piece of the assessment. The book mentions sometimes that's a challenge for kids if they can't get that perfect, and she was gentle with herself, so that was nice. She may have been having anxiety internally, but she didn't show it outwardly or talk about it, so that could be a barrier as well if she was having that anxiety. Her personal social development, she's always been independent and mature, and that kind of brings me to her family of origin. She's the only child in her family and her extended family. So culturally, they do a lot of things together as a family, but there aren't a whole lot of social engagements outside of the family where she can interact with other peers. So she was very comfortable with me as an adult doing the assessment, but I interviewed her at a library with a playroom with other kids, and when we were done with the interview, she was allowed to go in there and play, and she presented as what the book called an onlooker, where she watched the other kids intently and she interacted with them verbally, but she did not engage in play really with them. She also mentioned to me that her playmate that she plays with at school is 8 years old, so she's an older female, not exactly her peer. So I think a barrier and a challenge for JD will be for her to kind of open up socially and be able to relate more with her peers instead of always relating to adults. And I think it will be helpful for her family to kind of push her in that direction too. But they did mention culturally that they do things mostly as a family and not really outside of the family. So that will be something that she can work on. Implications for social work. I just think recognizing that she's so advanced, so smart, presents really well, to still recognize that there are some barriers for her socially, and that if she's not able to kind of interact and get that peer interaction and learn some of that conflict resolution, she may be behind the curve a little bit. So that was interesting to note. I think this is a fantastic tool. I think it's great for any population, anywhere. I think you always have to be culturally sensitive to the population that you're working with and take that into consideration, but I think it's a really good tool. I loved this assignment. I learned a lot about some of my findings and also some of the beliefs that I had about kids and ages and stages of them. Like, for instance, I really viewed 5-year-olds as kind of little adults, and there's a big piece missing. They're still 5-year-olds. So that was helpful for me. I don't have kids of my own, so I really appreciated that. The most I learned was probably from the strengths and the barriers section for the biopsychosocial, because I had never really considered a strength being a barrier, like independence being that she needs to work on listening to other adults because she's not one herself, so she needs to take in that wisdom and knowledge of adults and the guidance. Also being aware of other people, I think that can be a barrier for her because she just kind of is in her own little kid world and she's the center of it all in her family. So just opening up and being open to other personalities and walks of life, I think that will be helpful for her. Overall, I learned a ton from this assignment. I hope you all did too. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.